I'd like to share this article with you. It's from Forbes magazine, and it concerns our current project on comparing two websites. The article is titled, How to Test Your Website for ADA and WCAG Compliance, by Peter Boyd. Most people are familiar with the Americans with Disability Act. The ADA was passed by the federal government in 1990 and helps to protect people who require physical accommodations, such as elevators and ramps for wheelchairs. It also prevents discrimination against them. Many people may know that ADA compliance extends to websites now. Your website, of course, isn't discriminating based on not having an elevator or ramp, but it may not be using appropriate colors, fonts, and file types. Hard-to-see colors and fonts can discriminate against people with visual impairments, as can certain file types that don't allow computers to read text out loud for those who need such an accommodation. Read on to learn more about how the ADA may affect your business and how you can test your website for compliance. All right, so the primary tests, I'm just going to scoot down here, are described here. To ensure that your website complies with ADA and WCAG standards, a combination of automated and manual testing is best. While many companies that specialize in building websites offer accessibility audits, it can be expensive. So I recommend that most companies opt for automated testing in addition to conducting their own manual testing. All right, so here are the tests that you will want to do to check the websites that you're evaluating. Are they operable? Are they perceivable? Are they robust? Are they understandable? Okay, so let's start with operable. Ensure not only that it's simple for users to navigate using a mouse, but also that it's easy to navigate using keyboard-only commands. I mean, think about it. When you have visually impaired users, grabbing a mouse and doing this is quite useless. Works for me because I can watch the little cursor move. How does it work for people who are not seeing that? So, what you need to do is try pressing your Tab key repeatedly to see whether you can access elements on your website using the keyboard alone. Keyboard alone for the visually impaired. Has to work with the keyboard alone. Many people who have motor disabilities, who may not be able to do this, as well as people with visual impairments, rely on a keyboard. So that's going to be really important. And your content on your website has to be navigatable by the keyboard. It also has to be perceivable to all people regardless of visual or hearing impairment. So you need to make sure that all users can find and efficiently process the information. So it needs to have audio descriptions for all content for the visually impaired. Now, an audio description doesn't mean that you open the website and it starts talking to you. The visually impaired are usually going to have their own programs, such as JAWS, which will read the page aloud to them. But anyway, let's go on. Robust. Enable your website to adapt and evolve to meet changing needs. Ensure that it's compatible with screen reading software, for example. Okay. So will the website work with the latest versions of JavaScript and whatnot, and work with screen reading software? So we're going to need a little bit more information about this. Perceivable. What makes a website not perceivable is if you open it and you can't tab, or if you open it and it's a full page of content with no clickable headings or subheadings. No, a lot of times a good website is going to have an outline of topics with links to each section. So somebody with a visual impairment doesn't have to listen to an entire 10 pages or whatever of content just to get to the one point they're looking for, but instead can select from a menu and go exactly to what they need and have what they are looking for be read to them rather than entire pages and sites. The website must also be understandable. Make sure it's easy for all users to comprehend the information on your website. Recommendations include making text readable, which includes using a mechanism to help identify definitions of words or phrases used in unusual ways. And this is something any good writer is going to do anyway. So it needs to be good writing on the website as well. Define unfamiliar terms, give examples of unfamiliar terms, be specific in your word choices and explain what you mean. It means expanding abbreviations and including language that is, actually we want things on a website in particular to be readable just at a clip, very, very fast. So 6th grade level even, 8th grade level, somewhere between there is the kind of language you would use on a website. Or making available a version that doesn't require advanced reading ability. By testing your website for ADA and WCAG compliance and making the necessary adjustments, you can ensure that your site is accessible to everyone. And that is what we mean by accessibility. Accessibility means accessible to everyone.